Boyfriend repeatedly pushes me off the bed as a joke, finds amusement in my distress and invalidates my feelings, leaving me feeling scared and alone. I'm not faking any injuries or being physically hurt. I'm just upset I landed on the ground next to a litter box and knocked over an air purifier. I was scared I was gonna break my neck and I told him that mid-landing. The reason why he kicked me off is because I was bugging him to get out of bed as I ordered food for him and it just got delivered. I wanted him to eat while it was hot. He ended up pushing me off the bed with his feet as a joke or punishment for annoying him. That's it, I'm gonna push you into your cat's litter box. This happened minutes ago and I can't seem to calm down. I previously was living with roommates but the arrangement didn't work out and I agreed to leave the lease. I accepted my boyfriend's offer to come live with him so I could save money on rent. We have been dating for almost 4 years now. This isn't the first time my boyfriend has done this to me. He used to do it more often before, shoving or pushing me off the bed as a joke. He knows I don't like it but he keeps doing it. Sometimes I would end up crying because I get upset from this and he would get very annoyed at my reaction. He thinks I'm overreacting and he is just being playful but I find it too rough. I wonder to myself if he really hates me this much that he finds it so amusing to upset me. He kicked me off the bed with his feet. If I cry he verbally lets me know he is annoyed by scoffing and yelling at me. You're fine, Jesus Christ, why are you crying over this? You're overreacting, which only makes me sob even harder. This hurts and receiving these remarks after he's done this to me makes me more sad. Why does he do this? How is he annoyed by my reaction to what he's doing? He's mad that I'm crying for him physically removed from the bed. It makes me feel like a small helpless child. He comes across so heartless to me whenever he doesn't try to comfort me or apologize. I don't understand how he finds enjoyment in seeing me suffer. It really makes me scared to think of what else he is capable of doing to purposefully upset me. He also said he didn't know I would actually fall by pushing me off the bed and that he thought I would stand up to get off in time. He deems it was an accident, but why does he act so cold afterwards? I'm not sure what to do. I wanted to come here and get some opinions as I don't have a good support system at all. I have no friends in my area and I don't have any family. I am all alone. You just realized he's an abusive piece of crap. It's a lot to take in. If it happened one time, I could almost see his excuses if he was immediately up checking on you. But he's done it a lot before? He's a piece of crap. Get out of there. I have never done anything like this to my wife in the 27 years we've been together, even the times we've been angry at each other. It doesn't matter if you're injured or not, you have expressed a boundary that you don't like it. If he continues to do it and then gets upset at your discomfort/emotional response, he doesn't care that it hurts you. You will absolutely find someone who can respect you, love you, and understand your boundaries. Don't settle. If you can find a safe place to stay, I would consider moving if it's possible. August 30th, 2018, my ex-boyfriend kicked me off our bed, only I was facing away from him and asleep. From that I received severe spinal stenosis with degenerative joint disorder. I also have a severely pinched sciatic nerve. Literally this morning I was discharged from the hospital where on Thursday I had emergency spinal surgery to repair something called cauda equina syndrome. I had an emergency spinal decompression surgery at 3 different levels of my spine. I'm looking at months of recovery and possible permanent numbness throughout my groin and my arms and feet. You are overreacting. In fact, you are underreacting. I never pressed charges against my ex and now owe thousands in medical bills. Even with insurance. Call the police. File a report. Take pictures. Advocate for yourself. Don't be me. Update 1. I feel so alone and I have no one else to turn to. I'm in so much pain emotionally and I'm just thankful there are people here kind enough to reassure me that his behavior isn't normal. I'm stupid enough to believe it will get better and this time we can avoid fighting. I should have found my own place to live, my gut was screaming for me to do so but I ignored it because he wanted us to live together. I will attempt to get an apartment with my friend. I told him I'd move out and he's saying he will be done with me if I do this. That's exactly what I want. I've tried to break up with him before but he wouldn't let me leave. All of you are right and it's time to put my foot down. It's been almost 4 years of this. I want to live in peace. I'm so hurt and I want to get out of this situation as soon as I can. My soul feels crushed and I'm so frightened we are scaring the cats. I want to do everything in my power to avoid more fights during the process of moving out. Update 2. I'm not sure if you remember me on here at all, but for those who might be following, here is an update. I regretfully deleted the original post 20 days ago asking if I was overreacting for crying that my boyfriend purposefully pushed me off the bed so that I would land in the litter box. To summarize, he pushed me off the bed after I tried to ask him to come eat with me in the living room. I ordered food for both of us and it was delivered. I was not faking any injuries while crying, but he has done this plenty of times in our relationship before and he knows that I don't like it. So I ended up sobbing because falling from my bed scared me. I've told him to stop and he would continue to push me off as a sick joke. He gets amused when I get upset and slights me for crying. A lot of you have convinced me he was being abusive and I must act to leave really soon. Reddit was right and the situation escalated to more physical abuse. Our cats had basically gotten sick and I took my senior cat to the emergency vet one night. I was not able to sleep at all because my cat was wheezing from a bad asthma attack. My suspicions were that because his house is often very dusty and he has no structure with cleaning at all. Before I get misogynistic comments saying I should clean, I will lightly remind you that I moved into his messy house. That was the state of his current living situation. The vet had informed me she would not have these asthma attacks at their clinic, but it was a matter of removing her from her current environment. They also mentioned the possibility of dust mites in his house, which is bad for her asthma. I tried to ask my boyfriend to help me with my cat because I'm seriously worried for her health. I wanted him to help me clean the floor. This turned into him screaming at me because he wanted to sleep and he told me to fucking leave then. I pleaded more, which might be my fault, and he ended up choking me with both his hands. He told me I'm going to fucking choke you to death. He tried to apologize, but I told him to not console me. His attitude changed and started blaming me that I had made him do that too, me. I kept crying and saying repeatedly I just wanted my cat to be okay. This was an extremely traumatic experience for me that I will never forget. A day later I informed my friend who lives a few states away about what happened to me, and I decided to drive to her for 5 hours despite my driving anxiety because of OCD. I talked to my boyfriend about this mini vacation because I needed space. He agreed to take care of my cat's medication, and he has successfully done this because he has selective empathy with animals. Me and my friend talked a lot. She has offered to give me a job, and there is an extra room at her apartment. I have applied for her apartment and I recently just got approved. I feel a bit hopeful, but I am still destroyed that our relationship is ending soon. It went on for almost 4 years. I will be moving in soon, but I need to gather all my belongings from his house and my 3 cats. It's really hard emotionally, but I know this is the right thing to do for myself and my pets. I need this change and I want to be safe. I am ready for this new chapter of my life, and I want to get a restraining order in case he tries to stalk me, which he's done before. I am finally ready to leave him because it made me realize that so many people care about me and that his behaviors are not normal. Choking me was my final straw, and I know better now to not stay longer to see what else he is capable of doing to me. I know that he is more likely to kill me in the future, so I am accepting the fact that the relationship is doomed. There is no amount of therapy, love, and understanding to mend this. It is unfixable, and the only solution is separation and no contact. There is no going back. Thank you, everyone, for the overwhelming amount of support for my last post. It really helped me mentally come to terms with my situation. I understand now that I can't keep staying and I want to be strong. Thank you everyone for helping me believe that I was not overreacting. When he choked me, I immediately started bawling uncontrollably and was genuinely scared. I wanted my mom. I wanted my cat to be okay. I wanted to be safe, and I was in so much shock that he would want to seriously hurt me. The person who tells me he loves me has choked me. I left that room and cried for hours in the living room, while he had no trouble going back to sleep. I felt alone. I could feel his hands still around my throat even if it wasn't. I'm so frustrated with my body because I feel that what happened to me was a bad dream. I feel normal now and I'm desperately trying to cling onto the memories of that day. I want to remind myself that this is serious and I need to get out of that house. I almost want the fear to come back so that I don't forget and fall back into the cycle. I'm so glad I told my friend right away what happened to me because I described it to her when it was fresh. I need and want to remember. I am so incredibly thankful that hundreds of strangers are willing to help me right now. All of you want me to be safe, and that means so much. When I deleted my last post, I was a wreck. I immediately regretted it, but I was getting trolled a lot. Seeing so many comments telling me that I need to leave him was the reminder that I needed. It was the reassurance I craved and never got. Receiving people's input confirming he is abusive has really changed my life. It has shifted how I think about and perceive this relationship. I'm realizing I am sure about leaving this time. I was never sure before because he was all that I had and I didn't have support. I want to get out. I want to be free. I no longer feel that I'm crazy or overreacting, that I want to leave. Staying with my friend has helped me feel so much lighter. I finally feel safe, but I still worry for my cats. Thanks to everyone, I finally feel confident leaving him. I wish I had confidence to leave in the first year of us dating. I will follow everyone's advice and ask for my friend to come with me for support. I will call the police and have them escort me. I will rent a U-Haul and call the hotline when I wake up tomorrow. I want my cats to be safe and I want to get them out of that house for good. I want to collect my things and I never want to speak to him again. 2 years ago I was very codependent and uncomfortable being at my friend's house without talking to him on the phone. Now I find myself not wanting to even engage with his text messages. If it's at all possible, don't tell him you're leaving until you are already gone. If you must tell him, call the police to have someone come with you while you collect your pets and other things. Never be alone with him again. Yes, I plan on never telling him I am leaving until I have arrived at his doorstep and it's happening. There are 3 sides to him when he reacts to me attempting to leave. Number 1, he can be the type to cry hysterically, drown himself in vodka, cut himself and plead with me mercilessly to not abandon him. He cannot convince me anymore that it will get better. Number 2, he can react angrily to this, yelling at me, being destructive with explosive anger and breaking things around the house. He has punched walls before. Number 3, he can act condescendingly and will say do what you have to do, which makes me think he passed the point of caring anymore. I'm terrified of how unpredictable he is and I don't know which side of him I will get. I will absolutely call the cops and have them help me gather my things safely. I am hoping he will come to terms with my decision and understand that it's for the best. I pleaded more, which might be my fault, oh dear. Please, 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 please stop saying things like that. This is not your fault. Easier said than done, I know, but the only reason the abuse worked in the first place is because you were not ready to see that all of this is his fault. This is not to shame you, I just hope that some of this will stick with you if you ever need the assurance. Girl, stay away from him and never be alone with him ever again. Make sure your cats get out of there by calling in help from people to retrieve them, because I honestly don't think he'll take good care of them for long when he realizes what's going on. Stay safe, and all the best of luck op. Please call a DV hotline and talk to an advocate about the best ways to safely get your cats and stuff. They should be able to help you come up with a safety plan for how to do this. Please do not tell him you're moving out. Move in the middle of the night if you have to, but advocates should be able to help you figure out local resources. Please don't tell him you're leaving. Update 3. I did follow your advice to not tell him I would be moving out. English isn't my first language, so I will try my best. I did it and I'm safe now. I moved out, but it wasn't easy and I'm still not fully removed from his life. I will explain what happened, but please do not get mad at me. These types of relationships aren't easy to leave like the movies, but I will get there with time. I asked my friend and her boyfriend to come help me gather my things. Thankfully everything was still packed in boxes since my lease recently ended with my roommates. On the way there my abuser messaged me that his cat was in the emergency vet clinic and he would not be home. I told him I was coming to pick up my cat when I was an hour away. My friend suggested this in case he wouldn't be home because he is an entrepreneur and meets with clients. My abuser informed me that the house would be unlocked for me, but he said I couldn't take my senior cat. He explained that he needed to get some samples for her and take her to the vet to do blood work tomorrow morning. I told him I had to come to his house anyways to pick up some clothes and he was fine with this. We arrived to the state, but we are struggling to find a U-Haul, and on top of this my car's brake fluid started leaking, so it was unsafe for me to keep driving it. Finally we managed to find one that is 15 foot long, but arriving at location pickup we were informed it was stolen and we had no choice but to drive the 26 foot on that was available. My friend's boyfriend felt comfortable driving the U-Haul, and by the time everything was ready to go it was 10 p.m. My abuser started texting me if I came to the house yet or where I am. One quickly explained my leaking brake fluid as an excuse. We were on our way to his house, but we saw there was an accident by a street. Apparently some tree fell down and blocked someone's car. My abuser started blowing my phone up and asking if that car that stuck was mine or not. We were behind the stuck car and we all saw my abuser drive past us looking for me. He definitely saw the U-Haul truck and started calling me. He was furious with me on the call. He's always been picky about people coming over to his home because it's a mess and he's worried things will get stolen. I told him to be calm and not difficult about this or I will call the cops to come escort me. Me and my friend decided not to call police for escort earlier because we thought we would be able to move my things while he's not home. He started name calling and rambling how it's so rude to not say anything like a normal person. He ended up threatening that he would beat up my friend's boyfriend for even stepping foot in his driveway, and that's when I hung up the phone. I think he called his brother after, because when we got to the driveway he told us to wait for my abuser to come home. He even asked me if I was okay and I broke down telling him that I'm not. This was such a stressful day for everyone. My abuser pulled into the driveway. He said that only I am allowed in the house with him and his brother. My friend and her boyfriend would only load up the U-Haul. I was crying the whole time because I would hear my abuser calling me names to his brother and talking bad about me. I did my best to focus on getting my things to the U-Haul. After we finished up, my friend informed me that I could stay at my local friend's house for the night. It was awkward because we haven't been talking that much all year and I've been isolating myself, but I agreed to go. I could not drive back with my friend and her boyfriend because there's only 2 seats in the U-Haul truck, driver and passenger. They ended up driving back to our new apartment without me and I promised to fix my car tomorrow morning. My abuser tried to talk with me when we were alone, but I was too emotional. He tried to tell me I'm making a mistake. I brought up the cats and said he had to keep my senior for that appointment tomorrow morning. I agreed that would be the best for her because she needs to see the doctor. I told him I wanted to go to my friend's house now, so I drove there crying with fucked up brakes. Morning came and I drove back to my abuser's house. He was being really calm and nice about everything. At one point he felt bad for making those threats because my friend's boyfriend is a good person. He missed my cat's appointment, but he said he will take her some other day. We tried to fill my car with brake fluid, but it still leaked. We talked about my car situation and he agreed to have it fixed for me, so it would be parked by his house. I did end up staying for one night to sleep because I was wrecked emotionally. The next day he got us a rental car and ended up driving me to my new apartment. I couldn't drive it myself because he needed it to go to his shop in a different state. He paid for it, which was a lot of money I can't afford right now. He said he didn't want to drive his vehicle because it has its own problems. I know it's not an ideal situation that he knows my address, but I live close by to a police station. If he were to try anything funny they would be here in 2 minutes. Please don't judge me too hard. I did pick up my other 2 kittens and they have been thriving at my new place. I've successfully moved out and have been unpacking a lot. I'm surrounded by friends and making new ones too. I feel more comfortable that I am away from him, and my friend even got me a job at her workplace. All I am waiting on is my car getting fixed and my senior cat. I believe he will give them both back to me with no issues. I'm grateful that he is not the type to withhold my personal belongings from me because I have experienced this before. My kittens love the new place because it's much more spacious. They can go to the living room and spend time with my other roommates. They get all the attention and love they want, which makes me happy. I am only waiting for my senior cat, and from the pictures he's sending me she's starting to feel better. I miss her so much. After I get everything back I will end the relationship and get a restraining order. I never want to look back. Thank you for reading this, and I hope my next update is the final one. I'm forever grateful to receive so much support, and it's really encouraged me to be strong. I no longer doubt that I can leave him, and I no longer feel crazy. Every one of your comments has helped me realize that I can get out of this. If I would have never made my first post, I would have stayed in the abusive cycle. I feel much better now and more hopeful. Update 4. Hello, I am Op, and based on reading the comments I wanted to come here to clarify a few things. I understand your concern for the cats, and I want to reassure you that all of them are safe. I normally would not leave the cats with my abuser if I knew firsthand that he is abusive to them too. I have been in this relationship for almost 4 years and I have never witnessed him hurting the cats once, which is why I made the decision to not take them, which was hard for me to do. We also live together on and off as well. I did try to ask my friend if I could take at least my senior cat with me to her place, but during that time her lease had a strict no pets allowed policy. I don't value my life more than my pets. I would risk my life for them. At that time I just couldn't take all 3 of them with me. I instead focused on creating a concrete exit plan during my mini vacation with my friend. I told him it was a mini vacation, but in reality it wasn't, and we would talk about how do I move in with her. I was confident in leaving my cats with him temporarily because he also cared for them as kittens, and I'm grateful it's not one of those situations where he is capable of hurting an animal at all. He wouldn't even let a spider in the house die. He also has his own cats that he cares for and pampers. They are treated well and have never shown signs that they were abused by him. He watches funny cat reels on his phone a lot, so I'm confident to say I know this person well enough that he would not harm the cats. I know it may sound contradicting because he can hurt me, which is why I'm also confused with you too. He sends me pictures of my senior cat daily and videos. She crawls up to him to cuddle on the couch, which is an ick for sure, but he will give her to me soon. The soonest I think is next week because that's when I start my job. I did end up posting a second update, so if you want a detailed explanation on what happened, that is available to you. I totally understand why you're furious with me that I left the cats. It was hard for me to do and not my first choice. I have worked instead on achieving a permanent solution where they would be separated from that environment instead. My 2 kittens are with me and safe. No more yelling or screaming. A peaceful apartment where they can roam around and play. My goal now is to get my senior back.